a day job, and we feel the need to do this as well. And the next man set up Save the Asian Elephants 3 years ago for exactly that reason. Duncan McNair.
Ladies and gentlemen, all of you concerned for the welfare of the elephants, thank you so much for coming. Thank you to Maria and her wonderful team at Action for Elephants too. Ladies and gentlemen, I am distinctly privileged to speak for the Asian elephants. Iconic, revered and majestic, but now once numbering many millions, reduced to just a handful of 10,000s. Dispersed, enslaved, brutalized, desecrated. Hardly 5% of the numbers of their African kin. Today's focus is on ivory poaching. And we all stand today in witness and in repudiation of that outrageous and unspeakable practice. Such wondrous creatures brought low by the hand of man, for ivory trinkets and for potions. And for Asian elephants, this is a lethal practice. The male Asian elephant alone has tusks, so wither the species when the males are finally extirpated. I have visited Southeast Asia many times now. As a lawyer, I wanted to establish the facts for myself. And I thought in my personal life and in my professional life, I had seen it all. But nothing prepared me for what I saw. The legacy for me was many sleepless, anguished nights and a grief like bereavement and a diagnosis of PTSD. Well, if I suffered, what of the elephants? Not only in temples, but in fields and forests and festivals. I was told that I was the first Westerner ever into the elephant training camps in southern India. Well, indeed, as I call them, the elephant death camps. Many things I cannot or could not easily talk about. I saw beatings and torture, legs smashed with iron bars to restrict mobility, eyes put out with spikes, and lumps of flesh torn off with hooks, starved and overheated and worked to death, gaunt and haggard, baby elephants isolated and beaten near to the end of their life and beyond it, sometimes screaming and crying in the presence of their mothers. This is the true heart of darkness. And if anyone doubts this, and there is still a diminishing band who doubt it, look at the photographs on Stay's website. They convey a lot, although they do not convey everything. The fear, the smell, the noise, the terror. Why is this done? Much of it is wanton cruelty by a new generation of mahouts, the daily managers of the elephant. But generally, it is to suborn them, to break their spirits. This is the practice of pujan, a relatively new experience, coterminous with the explosion in package holidays in the last 40 years or so. What are the tools of this trade? These are amongst the tools. This is the ankus, or the bullhook, used to gouge and stab. And this small one is a ceremonial ankus. Can you believe it? Also clubs and planks and knives and fire. Wild elephants, too, are under great pressure now from many dangers. The degradation and reduction of their natural habitat by chaotic roads and building, the reckless stringing of power cables through their forest homes, and high-speed trains and so on. So now, ladies and gentlemen, after 50 million years, this most wondrous, knowing, noble species is brought to the very brink of extinction, standing after its long journey, alone and broken and wounded at the precipice of its survival. Yet even for those for whom the inherent worth of an animal is nil, other than the use that it provides to humans, we destroy the elephants at our own peril. The elephants are the keystone species. They are the mega gardeners of the forest. They spread nuts and seeds throughout the forest tundra to sustain all other species, to maintain the carbon intake that stabilizes the climate upon which we all depend. This now, ladies and gentlemen, is a battle for public awareness, a battle for public opinion of the horrors, of the dangers, and of the solutions, and a battle against time for the elephants. Yesterday's announcement of a blanket UK ivory ban, subject to a consultation, is good news, and to that extent we must thank the government. But we hope there will be many more occasions to thank the government in the future. Stay stands to promote just this, public awareness and public opinion, to exert political influence and commercial change linked to credible, coherent and attainable policy. Stay's policies are extensive, closely researched both here in India and beyond, and by real experts in the field. They have never been traduced, let alone overturned, by any audience in delegations I have led to the British government or the Indian government, or to the Indian High Commissioner in London, or to the European Parliament, or to universities and churches and temples and anywhere. They stand untraduced and they should be adopted. Whilst public awareness is far too low, when informed, it is taken up in huge numbers. Online petitions following Stay's work show now 500,000 signatures. Independent polling we've commissioned shows unprompted audiences, 90% of them supporting change, urgent change of this sort. And motions in Parliament, promoted by Stay, garnered 200 MP signatures very quickly. Yet government action, I was going to say, until yesterday was nil. Now there is a landmark, and we must build on it. Remember David Cameron's manifesto pledge of 2015, endorsed by the Indian Prime Minister later that year. Nothing happened. And in Mrs. May's manifesto, a void. So, Stay's approach is respectful, but tenacious, as the cause deserves. We must be respectful, but we must not lose our critical faculties. And let's be clear, this is not a battle of the West against the rest. On the contrary, it is Western tour companies that reap the bulk of these dark commercial spoils in tourism. The Hindu faith belief system is admirable, and it is one that we respect. The Western tour industry prospers from self-regulation, as ineffectual in this sphere as in all others. In this country and in others, change is needed, not blandishments by government. And durable, lasting change, not transitory accommodations which are temporary and tinkering. So Stay is pressing for a new law, a law that forbids the promotion or advertising of any elephant tourism unless it can be proven on credible current documentary evidence that those facilities have never abused elephants at them. A new political will is needed. Your will.
Sorry.
We have seen what the public can do united together. This should embolden us. This should empower us. And Stay does not oppose elephant tourism. The public have a perhaps legitimate wish to see elephants in their wild and natural. This may indeed be part of the future survival of the elephants. Ethical elephant tourism. Not tricks, not football, not painting. Ladies and gentlemen, silent reflection is very fitting as we hang our heads and search our souls. So too is action. Inertia is the elephant's greatest foe. What can you all do? What can you all do? You can do everything. You can do a very great deal. And great causes are predicated on great public action. Do everything everywhere to spread public awareness of the horrors and of the solutions. Please take Stay's leaflets and fact sheets, which are with my colleagues today. Use social media, of course. Write letters to government, parliament, MPs, to universities, to the media, to business, to churches, to temples. There are many examples of letters on our website that you can send at the flick of a switch. Question and challenge travel and tour companies. Make speeches or direct audiences towards Stay. And organise great events like this. Above all, join Stay and the other groups. Stay works for no money, for no pay, for nothing, but of course for everything. Let us look in our hearts. It is this generation and the next that will save the elephants or decide their fate. In the din and the throng of many causes, this is surely one of the greatest causes. Please help us to save the Asian elephants, the gentle giants, in their hour of great need. Thank you.